Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. Excuse me. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about why I believe we need the zodiac sign Libra. Now, first off, Libra, of course, could be a very good mediator. They're often very good at reconciling differences, contentious situations with others. They could simply be the quintessential peacemaker of the zodiac, and they often find equitable and very fair solutions to problems. So if you want a situation resolved that's acrimonious between people, Libra is often the person to call on. So anyway, well, another reason why we need Libra, I believe, is because, they have just a very good disposition, very charming, amicable, and cheerful. They're very amiable, and they often make very good hosts or hostess at parties, social gatherings, clubs. So they are the ones that can really, like I said, as far as hosting or being a hostess, they're the ones to call on, and we'd have fewer good hosts and hostesses, I believe, if we didn't have Libra. So anyway, also Libra can have a very good affinity for art, whether it could be drawing, painting, sculpting, abstract art, anything and even the arts in general. Acting, you have Roger Moore, a legendary actor, sun in Libra. I think George Papard has had his sun in Libra as well. Linda Carter, very glamorous, very beautiful actress, Leo's sun, and Libra Ascendant, who played the Wonder Woman. You have a very Libra is one of the better actors and actresses, being ruled by Venus. So anyway, another reason why we need Libra is because they're often very equitable and fair-minded. They can make very good parents because they could disperse their time very evenly with their children, being very fair to them. Libras may preach a balanced diet. They know how to divvy things up in a very even manner. Everything can be very balanced with Libra. Being very fair-minded, they often will share their time with their friends very evenly, so they don't cause any strife or discord or any jealousy with any of them. So anyway, and also another reason why we need Libra is because they can often be very knowledgeable about the law. They could be very good attorneys and paralegals. I've talked about how, you look at some good examples. Ed Koch, Libra Ascendant, I believe at 29 degrees, if I'm not mistaken, which I see is the full culmination of the sign, was on People's Court one time, and he played a judge on there. And also, in Ed Koch, again, Libra Ascendant, Judge Judy has her sun in Libra, though I think ostensibly her ascendant could be Aries due to her very acerbic and outspoken nature. Judge Judy, again, a sun in Libra. Libras are often the ones that could, like I said, be very good attorneys. They're often very proficient in the areas of the law and very knowledgeable about it. However, a negative manifestation, they could also be compulsive suers and be able to sue and constantly be suing people and trying to find reasons in the law in which they can actually work it, where they can sue somebody. So anyway, next thing up, as far as why we need Libra, well, Libra can be very tactful and diplomatic. They are very good in their communications. There's less people that they might rebuff. Libra can be very articulate. But when they articulate what they're saying, they often choose their words very carefully in a manner which they would not offend somebody. Even if they're saying something that might come across as derogatory or derisive, they may say it in a way where others will not necessarily be alienated by it because of the way they choose their words. And say, unlike Aries, which is really like the antithesis of Libra, well, Libra will again choose their words very carefully, and it makes for better conversations with others. So anyway, well, another reason why we may need Libra too is the fact they are very relationship oriented. They often will encourage others to be more sociable, even more introverted and introspective types like Cancer and Pisces. They can often be the ones to bring a Cancer out of his or her shell. Excuse me, people. So I think for those reasons, and Libras often are very good at collaborating with others on projects. They're often better to do things with others as opposed to by themselves. They like to do things in pairs, and they are very good in terms of teamwork. So, excuse me again. Yeah, I joked with somebody one time. I think I should go to the courthouse. Speaking of Libra and the law, I should go to the courthouse and change my name to Bad Luck Eddie. I tried going to a different place, and the only thing I got at the new location, I got a nice cough from somebody. Kept me up for about 2 hours last night, coughing persistently. Anyway, another reason why we may need Libra in our lives is their even temperament. They're often very consistent with their demeanor, and they often won't allow extraneous things to interfere and impact their treatment of others. They are often ones that won't let their personal problems get in the way in their interactions with other people. They're cognizant of the fact that those people they deal with have nothing to do with any issues they're going through, and they don't let it conflict with their relationships with them. So anyway, another reason why I believe we need Libra in our lives is because of their intellectual sociability. They have a very strong ability to bounce ideas off others and vice versa. And often literary ability. I think we have less proficient writers, if not for Libra. Libra can often be very good conversationalists, given that Libra is an air sign, and they often have a very good affinity in terms of writing and communication in general. So anyway, and also too, I think when you look at Libra, another reason why we need them is because of their extraordinary ability to compromise. They often have the ability to share the limelight with somebody. If they're in a position where they're getting some kind of notoriety and exposure, they can often defer to somebody else. A classic example is Libra rising Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, legendary NBA player. When Magic Johnson first arrived on the team, I believe in 1980, I think what Kareem was able to do was defer to Magic to some degree, and in the process, I mean, they allowed themselves to become a better team. He understood that he had somebody on the team that had inordinate talent, and if he was able to step back a little bit, meaning Kareem, that it could be to the benefit of the team. So anyway, and the thing about Libra too is why we need them is because they're often very humble and reticent. They could be very easy to be with, a very good disposition, and the reason why this is very beneficial to others, I mean, you look at Libra in contrast to somebody that might be more arrogant or egotistical. Others often can be rebuffed by people that are somewhat arrogant, somewhat of a braggart, people that are boasting about their achievements, where Libra again can be very humble and reticent. People are often, instead of being put off by that, they often appreciate that. And Libra manages to maintain their connections, I think, longer than a lot of others because of this fact, because people often, see this as a laudable quality with Libra, and people often admire others that are very that are more humble, and people that, as opposed to somebody that's overly pretentious or flamboyant or trying to boast up their abilities, so to speak. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment as for why I believe we need Libra. Stay tuned next time, where I'm going to be talking about what I believe is the most misunderstood zodiac sign, part 1. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.